Uh, as an actor, who has been trained in acting school, I've learned to never let my personal self affect my character. So, whichever film I'm supposed to do, whatever job I'm supposed to do, I always create each character. So, Spiff for the Johnson, as a character, is everybody knows Spiff is dumb. Spiff is always mischievous. He's just very stupid. He has to, anything that goes wrong is Spiff, and that is quite different from who I am. Samuel Ajibola. I'm a political scientist. I'm very passionate. I love reading. I love acting. So it's a contrast between both me and my character. But for every character I play, I always have to do something different, and that's just the difference. Well, challenges. Every actor faces a lot of challenge, but for me, the challenges I faced started from when I had to forfeit my acting career for school because it was beginning to affect school. I started off as a child actor. I have so many awards, at least 3 best kid actors to my credit, for films like Onome, Tears for Love, Without Love, Conspiracy, so on and so forth. And I was, at the time in this industry, the rave of, when you were talking about kid actors. But then again, I had to go to school and it was beginning to affect school. And so at a point, I actually repeated the class, and that was when my dad had to call a stop between, because obviously anybody can go into the acting industry, but you always, more importantly, have to have your career. And so I had to take a break from 2003 down to 2009. And so over the space of 6 years, things had changed. I've evolved. I was no longer the young kid, and I had become a grown man. And so when I got back 2009, people didn't really recognize me. That's one of the challenges I faced. Two, we're an industry where I would like to say roles are given based on sentiments. I don't know if it's changing, the trend is changing, but then again, people tend to give who they know, who they favor. You have to be extremely good, even at being extremely good for the ladies, someone wants to sleep with you. But, all in all, if you are very good at what you do, if you're very distinct, you would always be tops and come out. Oh, definitely. Speak of the Johnsons. Speak of the Johnsons has been amazing. So much so that it's just so crazy. I cannot imagine being to tell the experiences. Well, I actually gave one to a fan I met at the airport this morning, because everywhere I go, people are, I see you speak African magic. It's amazing. I love your character. How did you? I met a guy downstairs. I had to give him my cup. I met a woman upstairs. She was like, "So you're not this stupid?" I was like, "I'm not. It's a character." It's so beautiful that African magic has, put up together a work that everybody seems to love, and I'm proud to be part of it. Of course, definitely. I would like to say I got to the peak of my acting career after I finished the training under the tutelage of Amaka Igwe, so rest in peace. She owns the Center for Excellence in Film and Media Studies, and I happened to study there 2012. I obtained a diploma in acting there, and since then my life has been amazing. My career too. Well, for me, once I read the script the first time, I'm reading it just to know the story. I want to know what the writer is trying to talk about in a character. While reading it, I begin to see the thought process, I begin to see the educational background, I begin to see the class income, I begin to see the philosophy of the character, and then I begin to pen these things down in the paper, in my notebook. I begin to pen these things down, and then after reading it the first time, I read it again for the second time to become the character. This time I create the attitude, I create the character itself, be it voice, be it gesticulations, be it could be down to the way I walk as a character. It could be the way I keep my face as a character, like most people say in Spiff. It could be the way I keep my hand as a character. So I create all these things together and I put it, and then I take time out before I go to film to become that character. If I'm supposed to go on set next week, I try to use the whole of this week not to become Samuel Ajibola anymore, but to become the character. I talk like the character, I think like the character, I walk like the character. So that when I get on set, I do not play myself, I play that character. It's such a beautiful process. Apart from piracy, some of the things I would love to change, if I had the supernatural power, I would like to create our industry in such a way that is patterned like the people we look up to in Hollywood. Now, if you look at every Hollywood film you watch, right from the first thing you see things like Firefox, see things like Universal. And now these are multi-billion-dollar companies that invest into projects that people bring to them. So they are able to spend as much as 70 million. What am I saying? 70 million, 250 million on a film project. They're able to bring out funds that are able to shut down one whole street in New York for the purpose of a shoot. I remember vividly that for Batman Dark Knight Rises, they shut down the street for I think 3 days. It's before you get that kind of leverage in Nigeria, it's almost unimaginable. I remember when we were doing Last Flight to Abuja, just to use the airport was tremendously crazy. The process, we had to write letters were not approved. It's such a very big disadvantage that we face here. So I would really love if we have an industry where we have multi-million or billion-naira companies that can support the industry. You see script writers bring in their projects to say, I want to do this. Producers, directors say, I want to do this. And then a company looks at it and say, oh, this is a viable project. We can make this happen. And then such films are blown big. They are done big, unlike the state we find ourselves in, whereby a single entrepreneur just brings out 3 million and says he wants to shoot a film. He can decide to tell you he doesn't want to give you money. He can decide to tell you he's going to give you 13,000 naira. It is now left for you to say, okay, I want to do it because I need that 30,000 naira. Or it's left for you to now say, okay, I want to do it because I think the project has potential. So these are part of the challenges we face as an industry. Also, I would love the fact if we get because of this element I explained, scripting has become limited. The kind of stories we write are just limited to living rooms. You hardly see films that have to do with explosions. One, because of course the finance is not there to sponsor it, and two, again, because if you write these things down, the realization of it is difficult. So it limits the creativity of a writer. So these are a few of the problems I feel we face, and I wish I could change. I can take it from different dimensions. I can take it from the dimensions that people are looking for what to eat, so nobody has time to watch TV. That is on one side. I can also take it from the dimension that the industry has grown. If it's like you said, if you take it back to TV stations way back when they used to be programs, Super Story, Fortune, Checkmate, there were few projects. These were very few projects. And then we had not grown too big to have intercontinental TV, where you have DSTV, where you have StarTimes, you have different ones where you can sit down and pick and watch the one you want. So most times it's either a situation whereby there are too many that you cannot see all of them at the same time. You have to see a few, or the fact that people are just busy looking for money. They don't have time to watch TV. I still meet a lot of people and they be like, it's Johnson's, I've not seen it. I don't watch television, I'm busy looking for money. So it goes both ways. It has this multi-dimensional. Top 5 Nollywood movies. I would not like to be biased, but I would. I watched The Visit with Nse and Blossom, and I loved it. Such a beautiful story. It was nothing too fantastic in terms of, being extravagant. It was just a simple story, but it was well told. I like Last Flight to Abuja, not just because I was in it, but because I see it as an attempt by an individual to do beyond the ordinary. You cannot state a Nigerian film that you've known in the history of Nollywood that has to do with planes crashing and such events. It had a beautiful twist too. I love figuring. I really love figuring, not just because Kunle Afolayan used that medium to, make the industry go bigger, but it was a very beautiful experience. looked into our history, and I loved the story. Which one again? I recently watched First Lady and I liked it. First Lady with Omoni Oboli and Alex Ekubo. Alex Ekubo really blew my mind. I loved the way he nailed the character. It was such a beautiful film. And lastly, I will say Onome Part 2 because I'm in it. I was still a young boy. It got me my 3rd award as Best Kid Actor. But beyond that, it explored the fact how child trafficking and children these days are, treated and mistreated by their families, their relations, and how they end up surviving to become who they are. So those are my top 5 Nollywood movies. My top 5 Nollywood actors. I've always had problems when people ask me that question because I've always looked up to Hollywood actors. I've always looked up to Hollywood actors. But then I would like to say Majid Michel is a very good actor in terms of when he creates his character. It's very beautiful. I love Desmond Elliott. He's amazing. He's really good. I love Inse. She's a very brilliant actress. I love Rita Dominic, and I love Genevieve. They're my top 5 actors. Future projects. The Johnsons has really got me locked down, but I'm for this season. We've been shooting since May and we're wrapping December. But beyond that, we're also shooting next year, by the grace of God. But beyond that, I've got a couple of films, couple of stage plays, couple of web series I am supposed to work on. But I'd like to keep them for now until I'm certain about them. It's just things that we're still in the negotiation process, but I see prospects, I see potentials in doing a lot of big projects. My name is Samuel Ajibola and I'm an actor. Most people know me as Piff of the Johnsons. Definitely you know my hand. I'm giving a shout out first of all to the cast and crew of the Johnsons. We've really been amazing. The actors, Lucky, Emotari, Blessing, they've all been amazing. I'm giving a shout out to all my friends, my family members, Gabriel, Steven, my parents. They've been supporting me. They're amazing. Kamsi, everybody, Femi Alfred Setonji, the whole crew. I love everybody. And you're watching Pulse TV, so stay tuned. Give it love.